Set in the deep blue South Pacific, 1,200 miles from Australia, the North and South Islands of New Zealand. One-twenty-eighth the size of United States, 3/4 the size of Japan, slightly smaller than Great Britain and Ireland. New Zealand's North Island. Crystal clear waters and a friendly climate make the Bay of Islands in Northland the closest thing to paradise. There are over 150 islands to explore, every one different and exciting. The Bay of Islands is made for lovers of water sports. You don't even have to own your own boat. You don't have to be an expert. Dinghy sailing, water skiing, game fishing, scuba diving. The important thing is to get out on the water. The sheltered coves and inlets provide perfect conditions for cruising and learning to sail. For some sailors, the vessels of yesteryear capture the real romance of the sea. The R. Tucker Thompson is a square-rigged replica complete with canvas sails and traditional running gear. It's all hands on deck or aloft, just like the old days. Once the sails and the course are set, the crew can enjoy some well-earned relaxation. If the early sailing ships made it through the islands, they found Russell a fascinating town with a somewhat checkered history. Russell was the first capital of New Zealand. The town was not always the peaceful spot it is today. In the early 19th century, there were 20 grog shops frequented by unruly whalers, convicts and historical significance for New Zealanders because it was here that the Treaty of 1840 was signed by Maori chiefs and the white settlers, or Pakeha. The treaty transferred sovereignty of New Zealand to the British Crown and guaranteed some land and fishing rights to the Maori. This treaty has been the basis of our bicultural society ever since. In the grounds of Waitangi is a Maori meeting house with its traditional barge boards representing outstretched arms of welcome. The fine carvings and panels display the craftsmanship of many of the tribes. Painted panels, beams and rafters represent the backbone and ribs of the Maori ancestors. The ornate wooden carvings in great slabs of the native totara tree are inlaid with paua or abalone shell and flanked by tukutuku, woven with flax. The Bay of Islands was the scene of fierce disputes between Maori and European in the mid-1800s. The Russell flagstaff was chopped down many times in protest by the Maori warrior Hone Heke. During these clashes, the stone store on the Kerikeri Inlet was used as an ammunition magazine. These days, it's a museum. Just across the road is Rewa's village, a life-size replica of a pre-European Maori living area, not to be confused with a fortified pa. The village, or kainga, with its thatched buildings, is simple accommodation near their gardens or place of work. At Rewa's village, there are many different types of early buildings, and out of reach of predators and children, pataka or food stores. Missionaries arrived in New Zealand in 1814. The first mission, headed by Reverend Samuel Marsden, brought the Christian faith to Northland. They were eager to convert the heathen settlers and the Maori. In Russell is New Zealand's first church. The gravestones bear witness to the area's unsettled and fiery past. Even the church was not left unscathed. Waimate North was the first inland mission settlement. It has an English country village feel about it. Perhaps it's the grand old oak trees and churches which were built by the English missionaries. There are a lot of early churches in Northland, all built by the missionaries and looking like some small corner of England. Not all of Northland's towns are famous for their churches. In the 1860s, Kawa used to have coal mines. They've since closed, but the old coal-fired train still puffs its way through the town. Believe it or not, this West Coast beach is an official roadway. It's called 90 Mile Beach, although it's nearer 60. There's many a stranded vehicle been lost to the incoming tide while the owner goes fishing. The roaring surf and white sand stretch from Ahipara to Cape Reinga, New Zealand's northern tip. A calm, sunny day disguises the turbulent currents where the two great oceans, the Pacific and the Tasman, meet. The lighthouse was built in 1941. And yes, we're a long, long way from anywhere. Legend has it that departing Maori souls leave from Spirits Bay on their long journey to paradise. Unfortunately, the early settlers were not conservation-minded. Half of Northland's huge kauri trees were felled by 1885. Their long, straight trunks were used to build houses, ship masts and spars. By 1900, only a quarter of them were left standing. The majestic Tane Mahutu grows in the Waipoua forest, one of the few pockets of native bush to escape the miller's saws. The tree is estimated to be 1,200 years old. Kemp House is New Zealand's oldest kauri dwelling. It was built in 1821 in Kerikeri for missionary James Butler, but preserved by his successor, James Kemp. One of the most impressive Cowrie homes is on Kowau Island. It was built in the 1860s by Sir George Grey. With imported animals and plants, he transformed the island into a veritable Garden of Eden. Auckland is about 3.5 hours drive south from the Bay of Islands. The harbour bridge, built in 1959, is the gateway to New Zealand's largest city. 1 million people live here. That's almost a third of the country's entire population. And most of the yachts are berthed here too. Auckland rightly deserves its title, the City of Sails. There is at least one boat to every 4 households. Auckland's skyline is changing rapidly, especially along the Golden Mile, Queen Street. Downtown Auckland is built on reclaimed waterfront land. Queen Elizabeth Square marks the landing point of the early tall ships. Standing guard is a Maori warrior who gazes seaward across the Waitemata or sparkling water harbour. Although Greater Auckland is one of the most sprawling cities in the world, the central business district is having to reach skywards to accommodate its rapid growth. Expansion has seen the death of many old buildings. A few, like the ferry building, have been lovingly preserved. It now houses restaurants. Diners can watch the never-ending waterfront display by people and ships of all shapes and sizes. Auckland is built on an isthmus, bounded by 2 harbours. On the eastern side is the deep and peaceful Waitemata, with its busy port and safe beaches. The west coast, with its Manukau harbour, is more rugged. Black sandy beaches and wild surf, a delight for surfers, but less welcoming to shipping. Go diving without getting wet? Kelly Tartan, who realised his dream in building Underwater World, wanted to share his love of diving with everyone. Extinct volcanoes are a striking feature of the Auckland landscape. Most of them, like Mount Victoria, are terraced by the pre-European Maori. North Head is now part of a naval base, standing sentinel at the Waitemata Harbour entrance, but it used to be a fortified pa. The Maori warriors protected themselves from enemy tribes by digging deep trenches and constructing high wooden palisades. One Tree Hill used to house 4,000 warriors. It was the site of many bloody battles in the 1700s and the early 1800s. Auckland's founding father, Sir John Logan Campbell, is buried at the summit. The obelisk expresses his love for the Maori people. Mount Eden has the most accessible crater. From here you can look across to Auckland's youngest volcano and favourite landmark, Rangitoto. Rangitoto erupted lava only 750 years ago. It has no soil, no water, but miraculously over 200 types of hardy plants. Auckland's waterfront always draws a crowd. Once every year, it's joggers who congregate on Tamaki Drive to pound the roads in the world's biggest fun run. Auckland is one of the most sprawling cities. Everyone wants a house or bungalow with its own piece of lawn or garden. We call it the quarter-acre syndrome. From pseudo-colonial to Spanish, styles are varied. In In recent years, the older houses have become popular. A favourite pastime amongst young New Zealanders is do-it-yourself house renovations. Auckland is the world's largest Polynesian city. Since the 60s, large numbers of Pacific Island people have flocked to New Zealand for work. With them, they bring their own culture and customs. It's been called culture, heritage, even religion. Our national sport, rugby football. All Blacks, we call them, modern warriors and national heroes. The Waikato, meaning full-flowing river in Maori, is the longest in the country. It follows a 220-mile path to the sea. For the early Maori, it was an important trade route. Today, the river's shape and flow has been altered by 7 hydroelectric power stations. Artificial lakes have been created. The river's slowed, making conditions perfect for up-and-coming Olympic rowers. Fertile pasture land flanks the Waikato. This is prime dairy country. Friesians, the most common breed, supply most of the country's milk. Other breeds for cream and butter. The New Zealand dairy farm is highly mechanised. A rotary shed can milk 500 cows in under 2 hours. That's a lot of milk. Dairy products are one of New Zealand's biggest exports. The Waikato region is renowned for its stud farms. Our earliest champion, Farlap, was the forerunner of a thriving thoroughbred industry.
Racing in the New Zealand Derby. Distance Bell's a little slow out,
Perhaps one day he'll be another Farlap. At the heart of thoroughbred country is Cambridge, one of the North Island's most picturesque towns. Cambridge has some distinctive turn-of-the-century buildings, like the local primary school with its 4-gable cowrie facade. Any nostalgic Englishman would feel quite at home. The Glowworm Cave is one of the region's biggest tourist attractions. It's called Waitomo, or Cave Water, and folk from all around the world seem to have heard of it. Over millions of years, water has formed a labyrinth of limestone tunnels. Dripping water has shaped stalactites and stalagmites in eerily beautiful forms. The magic subterranean world is lit by a galaxy of glowworms. Their lights designed to attract moths and flies, and tourists. Glowing health is the expectation of every Kiwi. There's plenty of sunshine and fresh air to share around at Mount Maunganui Beach. The water's clear and refreshing, and the crisp air is attractive to any flying Kiwi. Kiwi fruit, on the other hand, hide away behind shelter belts of trees and hedges. Te Puke town is known as Kiwi fruit capital of the world. The Bay of Plenty soil is rich, the climate mild and sunny. Although the fruit originated in China, New Zealand horticulturalists have developed this furry kiwi into a multi-million-dollar export. and it tastes delicious. Pohutu, a splashing, boiling hot release of geothermal power. Geysers and mud pools and an ever-present smell of sulfur certainly make you curious about what's underneath. Rotorua lies in one of the world's most active volcanic zones. The Earth's crust is thin. Boiling water hisses and belches its way to the surface. The folk at Waiotapu have aptly named their boiling effervescent lake the Champagne Pool, but it's definitely not for drinking. Steam rises everywhere, in people's backyards, in parks, and on a much larger scale, along the steaming cliffs of Rotomahana. Te Wairoa, the tall waterfall, is a tranquil place for a stroll, but it wasn't always so peaceful. One June morning in 1886, the sky darkened, the birds stopped singing, and minutes later, people were running for their lives. Mount Tarawera, the great volcano, was erupting. Villagers took shelter wherever they could, but many were buried alive. Over 150 people were killed, caught under nearly 9 or 10 feet of boiling mud and debris. When the houses were excavated, history was uncovered. Te Wairoa Buried Village, as it's now called, provides a unique time capsule recording the life of those early times. The volcanic blast tore a huge chasm right across Mount Tarawera and left the area a wasteland. The lush native bush that covered the mountain was instantly reduced to ash and cinders. Despite its barrenness, this otherworldly landscape has its own sinister beauty. One way or another, volcanic activity has given Rotorua its unique charm. Tarawera Lake is where the really big rainbow trout await you. The blue and green lakes beckon the photographer. And Lake Okarika lies peacefully in front of the once angry Mount Tarawera. Sheep outnumber people in New Zealand 20 to 1. Their wool and meat make the sheep our #1 export earner. They deserve to be pampered. At the Agrodome, visitors learn all about sheep. New Zealand shearers are renowned for their speed and technique. $60 million sheep can't be wrong. It's good to lose your wool at least once a year. Just think of all those clothes and carpets. Some people prefer it straight off the sheep's back. The sheepdog is the farmer's best friend, and he treads where no man can go. In New Zealand farming, on difficult and remote terrain, machines will never replace the dedicated and intelligent sheepdog. There are many breeds of sheep, and they all have different ideas of where they want to be. Keeping them in their place, that's Skip's job. New Zealand rivers teeming with rainbow and brown trout attract fishermen from around the globe. But at Rainbow Springs, they're not for catching, just for looking at. The Maori would cook his catch au naturel, steam it slowly on hot rocks in a hole in the ground, or hangi. Rotorua is New Zealand's best-known centre of Maori cultural activity. History, legend, arts and crafts are all on display in this unique thermal setting. Maori carvings recalling genealogy and legend adorn meeting houses on marae throughout the country. They have also earned a place in art galleries and museums in other parts of the world. The resurgence of Maori art has seen many young people trained by master carvers. Loving hands put life back into ancient forest timbers. War and peace. The Elizabethan-styled Tudor towers provides the perfect backdrop for a friendly game of bowls. Wairaki International Golf Course is not only picturesque, it has a few built-in challenges. Try and stay out of the rough. Wairaki thermal energy is harnessed to produce electricity. The whole valley shakes and rumbles as tremendous dry steam power is piped to the turbines. The mighty Hooker Falls. New Zealand's crystal clear rivers and streams provide the ideal habitat for trout. And where you find trout, you'll find anglers and fishing lodges. In New Zealand, you can't buy a trout in a shop. It's against the law. Keen sportsmen have seen to that. So, if you want a trout, you have to catch it yourself. The Tongariro River, like all the others in the central North Island, flows down from the mountains of Tongariro National Park, cool and clear. Hydro dams, too, provide deep holes and swirling currents, home for many a wily rainbow trout. The Tongariro Trout Hatchery sees to it that the fish remain plentiful. The first rainbow ova came to New Zealand from California in 1874. Since then, the Turangi hatchery has exported over to many countries, including back to California. Taupo is New Zealand's largest lake, 26 miles long. At its southern end is Waihi village, a picturesque Maori hamlet, home of the Tuwharetoa tribe. St Werenfried Church may look European on the outside, but inside there's a strong Maori influence. Next to the church is Tapeka Meeting House, built in 1959, with its proud teko teko standing above the traditional gable. Just south of Lake Taupo is Tongariro National Park, with volcanoes, snow, native bush, alpine scenery, and a grand old hotel, the Chateau, built in the 1920s. At park headquarters, rangers are always on hand to explain the features of the park. There are many scenic walkways. You can take a 20-minute stroll to a waterfall or go on a 5-day trek, staying in one of several huts. Tongariro National Park, with its 3 great mountains, Tongariro, Narohoi and Ruapehu, crosses several climatic zones, from temperate to alpine, from dense forests and ferns to hardy alpine vegetation. Skiers flock to Turoa and Whakapapa, the main ski fields on Ruapehu's 9,000-foot slopes. To the east coast, and one of North Island's sunniest towns, Gisborne. Overlooking the town is a statue of Captain Cook, who sailed into misnamed Poverty Bay aboard the Endeavour in October 1769. He and his landing party were the first Europeans to set foot on New Zealand soil and met with a mixed reception. coast to Napier. 1931, a violent earthquake reduced the town to rubble. 256 people were killed. During the Depression, Napier was one of the few places offering work, and the town was virtually rebuilt. Art Deco designs were in vogue at the time. Today's bustling, reconstructed town has an unusual blend of that style and traditional Maori motifs. Napier's living attraction, marine land. Dolphins have won the hearts of many New Zealanders, and none more so than Opo from Opononi, the affectionate dolphin who loved to play with children. He starred in films, songs were written about him, and he became something of a legend. Te Mata Peak offers the most spectacular views of the region of Hawke's Bay. The lazy Tuki Tuki is one of 3 large rivers that wander down to the coast from the inland ranges. Te Mata Estate Winery began production in 1896, which makes it the oldest in the country. The sunny climate and low rainfall provides ideal conditions for growing grapes and producing award-winning wine. Taranaki has a wild and varied coastline with black iron sand dumped on the shore as recently as 250 years ago by the then active Mount Taranaki. The region is dominated by the mountain, also known as Mount Egmont. The rich volcanic ash allows the land to support intensive grazing. It's a healthy place to grow up in, and no matter what you do or where you go, the mountain always seems to be right there with you. Taranaki, like the Waikato, is dairy country, thanks to the climate and extensive research into the growing of our most successful crop, green grass. Most of New Zealand's regional towns are on the coast, and many at the mouth of major rivers. Wanganui on the North Island west coast is a good example. The 180-mile-long Wanganui River was once a main highway, and the city's activity is still closely linked with the river and its port. But New Zealand is not all sheep, cows and rivers. The discovery of natural gas, both on and offshore, has brought a new self-sufficiency to the country. At Motunui, the refinery converts gas to gasoline. When you arrive at Wellington by air, you land at one of the world's most interesting international airports, the wild waters of Cook Strait at one end and Wellington Harbour at the other. When you arrive by ship, you're greeted by one of the most beautiful harbours in the world, second largest city and the country's capital. If you don't live in Wellington, you call it Windy City. At the centre of it all, Parliament buildings and the government beehive, with Richard John Seddon, founder of our modern Parliament, looking on. The New Zealand ensign, with its Union Jack and 4 stars of the Southern Cross, symbolises our heritage. The stately fern symbolises our love of nature. Gardens flourish in the capital, as does our native Christmas tree, the Pohutakawa. Wellington takes pride in its short history. Buildings like the old Turnbull Library will be preserved, as will the biggest wooden building in the Southern Hemisphere, now a government department. Wooden houses too cling to the hillsides of Wellington's inner suburbs. Something of a monument in the city is the railway station. The days of steam have gone, and today's commuters travel on fast electric units. Lambton Quay is the heart of downtown Wellington and the financial district. Michael Fowler Centre is heart of Wellington's artistic life. And the cable car from the city to Kelburn is the pride and joy of every Wellingtonian. Beyond the distant hills lies a whole different New Zealand experience, the South Island. It's a short flight or a trip on a roll-on, roll-off ferry. Out across Cook Strait to the land South Islanders call the mainland.